Hi there, Sarah here from Scattered Pictures and Memories, and I have a new project to share with you today. This is the house vignette from Creative Embellishments, and I have used Graphic 45's Christmas Carol collection to decorate it. So here's the front. I've used Creative Embellishments door and window, another window up here. This is actually part of one of the Creative Embellishments mini square frames that I cut to decorate the peak. And I've embossed the door and the windows with Distress walnut stain embossing powder. And then for the house itself, I painted it with brown acrylic paint, and then I used a mixture of Liquitex, what was it? Resin sand texture gel, and I mixed it with Art Anthology Velvet Dimensional Paint in terracotta, and that, there, you can see that created the bricks, and I used the Creative Embellishments crackled brick stencil for that. So that looks pretty neat. Okay. On the roof, I just created shingles using some of the paper from the 6x6 pad for the collection. All the papers are inked with Distress ink in ground espresso. I fussy cut out the Scrooge and Marley. Then I created the little awning from the papers and an edge punch. And then up underneath you can see the extra detail there. On the inside, so I've covered everything with the pattern paper, and I've used the brick fireplace from Creative Embellishments, and I've added the mixture of the Liquitex resin sand and Art Anthology paint to it as well, and backed it on some red paper from the 6x6 pad. I used some black cardstock in behind to put the little fire on that I painted with just acrylic paints. The grandfather clock here is from, let me see if you can see that, from Creative Embellishments as well there. I inked it with the ground espresso Distress ink, and then I added Prima, the metallique steampunk copper paint to it. And then inside there's part of another of those mini square frames that I painted with the steampunk copper paint. This garland and bow are also from Creative Embellishments, and they're just painted with acrylic paint and inked with the ground espresso Distress ink. And then in the little attic here I created, I used a little wooden sled decoration that I painted brown and just dry brushed with some white gesso. Made a few little books out of the pattern paper. Then I just put a little cutout from the paper there to look like somebody maybe stuck a photo in their attic. And then the little boxes here, the gifts, I had these tiny square wooden pieces that I just wrapped with the paper from the collection and punched out some tiny circles from the front. And then I've added the Christmas Carol logo up there. On the mantle of the fireplace, I created this garland with Tim Holtz boxwood twine, and I used it also to make the wreath on the door, and then I have a little fussy cut from the paper collection there. Okay. So next I am going to show you how I assembled the house vignette, because it comes in several flat pieces. So let me just get the things we need and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I have the Creative Embellishments House Vignette here. So it comes in these pieces. So you get the back of the house, and then you get these for the roof and the sides, and then the little ledge to create the attic section. Okay. So in order to assemble these, what I did was I just took some craft cardstock and I cut it into 1-inch strips, and I scored those at 1/2 inch. And this will create hinges so that you can assemble the pieces. Okay. So to assemble the house, there's 11 hinges that I cut for the two sides, and I'll post this on my blog so you can see, but for the two sides, they're 2 5 3/4 inch pieces. The bottom is 5 3/8 inch, and then the bottom corners, there are 2 at 1 1/4 inch. For the roof sides, you need 2 at 4 inches. For the roof bottom, you need 1 piece at 5 3/8 inches. And for the roof, the bottom corners, you need 2 at 1 1/4 inch, and for the roof peak, you need 1 at 1 1/4 inch. So I've gone ahead and I have cut all of those. I'm sure you don't want to watch me cut all those pieces. So I've got them all here. And I'm using the 3/8 of an inch score tape to assemble this. You could use wet glue. I like the score tape. It holds really well. You just have to kind of make sure that you line it up correctly the first time, because you don't have the wiggle room that you'd get with liquid glue. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take, let's get this out of the way, the back piece of the house. And this really long piece, and it's scored, and so one side, one is the side and one is the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and put the hinges, which I've labeled here. There's side and bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and put those on, and you want to make sure as you're doing this that you line up the hinge with the very edge of that chipboard piece. You don't want any overhang, because you want it, when you glue it down to the house base, you want it to sit really flush. Okay. Now my hinge, I'm just a little bit over the edge there, so I'm going to clip that. Probably could have gone closer to the outside edge, but I'm just going to clip it off so that it doesn't interfere with that score line. Okay, so there, that's attached for the bottom. I'm going to do the side as well. And again, I'm just going to go right up to the very edge of that chipboard piece. There we go. Okay. And again, if your hinge hangs over, you can just trim it off. Okay. So this is ready to add to the house. Now when you add it, you're actually adding it just on top of the back piece. Okay, so you're going to line up that piece flush with the bottom of the chipboard piece for the back of the house, and then you're going to attach it. It'll be easier like this. Okay, so let's see if I can get that in frame properly. So you want to actually put the bottom chipboard piece on top of the back of the house, right at the very edge. Okay, and in about a 1/16 of an inch, so that there's room left on the side for the other side piece. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stick that down now. Okay, so that's on. And now we can do the first side. I'm going to take that backing off and fold this in. I'm going to hold this up until I've got it placed exactly where I want it, which is flush along the side here, right up to the bend in the house. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so see, bottom. Okay. Okay, so next we're going to attach the other side piece. So I'm going to grab the hinge for that. That's this one. And again, we're just in frame here. I'm going to line that up right along the edge of the chipboard piece. Cool. Trim off any excess. And then I'm going to take the backing off here. And again, I'm just going to hold this folded down until I have it positioned exactly where I want it. Okay, I'm actually going to go in and trim this off at a bit of an angle so that I can get right in nice and flush to the bottom there. There we go. Okay, so there's the bottom and the two sides on. Now we're going to do the bottom corners, and these ones are actually going to go on the outside. So I've gone ahead and I've cut them and I've put the score tape on the inside of the fold so that we can put them on the outside of the corner. Okay. Now these ones I didn't taper because I do want them to sit nice and flush with straight lines at the edges. Okay. Just trim off the extra tape there. Okay. So I'm just going to take off the first side. And I'll make sure this is folded enough that I can get it right. There we go. Off the bottom. Okay, and you want to get a nice sharp corner there, so kind of pinch that into place. Okay. And do the same thing on the other side. Oops. And this is the loose one, so you want to make sure that it's aligned properly before you go ahead and stick that down. I'll try and get that backing off. Here we go. Okay. And then again, just pinch that so you have a nice sharp corner there. Okay, so the next thing that I did was put the roof, the bottom of the roof, so the part that creates the attic in. Okay, and it's just going to sit right on top of those wall pieces, so you're creating a little rectangle there. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this along the edge of that piece. Okay. Take this off. And I'm going to angle these corners so I can get right in flush with the wall pieces. So I want it right on top of those two wall pieces. Just bend it, fold it up, make sure it lines up. And there we go. And then we're going to put two hinges on the inside here to hold that in place. So these are the 1 1/8 by 1 inch pieces. I'm going to go ahead and take both sides off, hold that in place, and what you want to do is just get this up closer so you can see. Hold it closed and then put the corner right into the corner, sorry, I can't see for my finger, of the house, and then just flatten those sides up. Okay. The lighting in here is not that good today. I'm having to use my light because it's kind of cloudy out today. Okay, so here's the second one. I'm just going to stick it right up into the corner of the house by the roof piece and push those down. Okay, so there we go. We've finished the box part, the house part, and now we get to do the roof and attic. So for the roof, it comes already in the peak form with the score line. So, excuse me. So it's going to sit kind of just along the edge of the roof there, and it just overlaps the base of the roof piece by a tiny bit. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, and I've gone ahead and I've cut the roof hinges at the angle, at quite an angle, so that they'll fit in there. Okay, like that. So I want to make sure I put these in the right places. Is that going to be right? Yes. No. Yes. Is that right? That is not right. That way. That's better. Okay, so this way. Okay, so right along the edge of the roof there. Okay, let's go ahead and do the other one. It'll be easier to put it on now than when it's stuck down. Okay. Again, right along the edge there. Okay, so got the roof ready to go. I'll just go ahead and start to stick it down. Take this off. Keep it up for now until we get it in the exact right place. You're going to want to bend this so you see that your peak is lining up properly. Okay, so that looks good right there. Oops. Okay, so that's on. And now let's put this side on. Okay, so right. And just make sure it's even with the other side. I can push that down. Okay. Now, if you want, you can put an extra hinge in here. It's not necessary, though. I mean, that's not going to go anywhere. And you may want to, when you're decorating this, you may want to fold some paper under there. So I just left it. Okay. And then finally we've got the piece for the peak of the roof. So again, it's taped on the inside of the fold. Okay. This is going to give your roof piece that nice sharp corner that you want. Okay. So Make sure the fold is right on top of that score line in the chipboard. Fold it over, give it a nice pinch again. Okay, there we go. That is how you assemble the house vignette from Creative Embellishments. So you've got a nice big surface here that you can decorate, and then the inside as well. Now you can leave this piece out if you do want the full box without the divider for the attic. I like to have this extra space, but it's completely your preference. Okay, so that's how it starts out, and this is what I ended up with. So pretty neat. Okay. I hope everyone is having a fantastic holiday season. I am looking forward to Christmas, and I hope to have one more video with a tutorial up for you before Christmas. So happy holidays everybody, and I'll talk to you soon.